What's up YouTube? KidMoto22 here, and today I want to talk to you guys about the leaked photo of the 2022 Harley-Davidson Lowrider S and why I think that they did this and it was completely intentional. So let's get to it. Alright guys, if you saw my opening, this is KidMoto, and I'm here to talk to you guys today about the 2022 Lowrider S photos that were leaked on Harley's website and why I think that Harley did this on purpose. So, you know that typically their new models for the last few years have been released over a web series or an event like we have this year in January on the 26th. So this has been their kind of traditional model for about the last 3 years. Now, our content creators and people in the marketplace and all the influencers, they're building relationships with dealers, and they're finding out that they can get to some of these dealerships when the 2022 or the current year models, 2022 being this year's models, are brought to the dealerships. So the company is getting a little bit more savvy, and maybe their secret models or their models that they think are going to be, big in the marketplace that year aren't being delivered to the dealerships when the rest of the 2022 models are. So if any of you guys have been keeping up on Instagram or YouTube, you've been able to see that the 2022 models are already out there. We've seen new paint schemes and everything on the models where there's really not a lot of changes, right? Their website was updated about 2 weeks ago, and on that website, just as predicted, we were able to see the models that weren't going to be there. The Sport Glide was missing, the Slim was missing, and the Iron 1200 were missing, all of which I talked about in a video that I'll put right up here. So with that and the new paint schemes being released, the new models that went to the marketplace, everybody kind of already knew what to expect, okay? But when Harley updated their website, the Lowrider S was conspicuously left off that list. No one thought that the Lowrider S was going to be eliminated. I didn't either. The Lowrider S has been pictured in the release videos for some of the leaked models, and I'll put a link to that video up here where I show that the Lowrider S is the base platform for their mini bagger or their, sport touring or whatever you want to call it. But the one that has the FXR style fairing with the Sport Glide bags on the Lowrider S platform, okay? So that's what we have been able to see. Now, Harley puts out a, update to their website with the new Lowrider S in black and I believe the new gunship gray paint color, and I'll show a picture of the black one right here. And so we're going to talk about some of these things that are on there. So the first thing is this is considered, this is supposed to be a 117 based on what we can see in the photo. We can also see that the heavy breather is very visible on this, which harkens back to the, I believe it was the 2017 Lowrider S that was still a twin cam model that had that type of heavy breather on it, okay? And so we see that it's got the heavy breather. We also see that the tank, not the badges, but the top of the tank where the gauges have been located for the past couple of years is slimmed down. You notice that you can't really see the gauges on there, okay? If you look on the top of the bars, you can see at the top of the bars where the gauges are located on the top of the bars. Now, this is not a new thing for Harley. If you follow any type of FXR pages, you've seen this on Sportsters, on Dynas, where people are putting the gauges kind of up on the top of the bars, especially if they have T-bars. That puts them more in your sight line, so you're not really tipping your head down. You can just tip your eyes down to look at your gauges, and you're not really taking your head off the road, right? So this would really align with what we see in the FXR world, and people that are deep into it and really doing that style of bike oftentimes relocate those gauges on those bars. So they've already done that, and what we don't see with this obviously leaked photo is we don't see the FXR style fairing or the bags, which I think is going to be an option on this bike. That's my opinion. I think you're going to still have a traditional Lowrider S, but then you're going to have a Lowrider S optioned model with a full fairing and the Sport Glide bags. Now, this is why I think it was intentional. I think that sometimes, maybe even a lot of times, as creators and as fans or supporters of the brand, we don't get out there and think that Harley is savvy enough to do things like what I think they just did, which is put a teaser out on their website long enough for people to grab some screen grabs, for people to make some content on, and then they're like, oh, we made a mistake and we're taking it down. I think this was done intentionally. Why do I think this was done intentionally? Think about the timing. It's about 2 weeks before we're going to have the actual live event. They are savvy enough to know that in the last few years, content creators have gotten very savvy, and they're going to go out and do screen grabs and make content and drive up the interest in this motorcycle. So you're going to have a lot of content creators, including myself, that are now talking about this bike that's not listed on the website, but will be maybe one of the bikes that they're revealing at their event. And we, as content creators, have driven up interest in the 2 weeks prior to that event that's coming. That's why I think it was intentional. Harley gets a ton of free advertising from content creators where we just take a screen grab or whatever, we put out our opinions, and it doesn't matter if it's really true or reliable information. We've put out enough information that it sparked interest, and it's going to get people to go there and to want to find out if this is real. So there you go. That's my take on why I think that the 2022 Lowrider S leaked photos were absolutely intentionally done by Harley-Davidson, that they put them out there so us content creators would do exactly what we did, which is grab pictures of that bike and put it out there for everybody to look at and drive interest up without Harley having to do any more than they're currently doing. So there you go. If you like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up. I'll put a link to a video that you might like over here or over here, and I'll put the subscribe button up over here or over here. And just remember, subscribing is always free. So thank you guys very much. This is Kid Moto. I'm out.